You. Yes, seriously, stop what you're doing for a second. Just look around you. Do you drink coffee? Use a checkbook? Are you sitting at a desk that uses math to stay level? If you answered yes to literally any of those things, you are benefiting right now from an idea invented or absolutely perfected by a group of people history often just skips right over. I'm talking about the brilliant Muslim scholars and innovators of the Islamic Golden Age, a time when their civilization was, without a doubt, the world's intellectual superpower. The shocking thing? Their impact on our modern lives is immense, deep, and still, somehow, hidden. Here's the thing that gets me: the story we were told in school is that after the Roman Empire collapsed, the whole world just went into a 1,000-year intellectual coma, the Dark Ages, until Europe finally woke up for the Renaissance. That, my friends, is flat out wrong. While one corner of the globe was struggling, another was exploding with new ideas, research, and discoveries. This wasn't a stagnant civilization, this was a vibrant, global hub of high-level thinking, incredible wealth, and innovation that eventually became the entire launchpad for the European Renaissance itself. In the next few minutes, we're going to connect some serious dots, from a tiny, revolutionary surgical tool developed in the 10th century to the very concept that powers every single piece of modern software you use, the algorithm. Get ready, because you're about to realize your history textbook was seriously incomplete. Let's get into it. Pioneers of progress, science and medicine. Let's start where it all went down, Baghdad. The House of Wisdom. There wasn't just a library, think of it more like a giant, state-funded NASA research center. They weren't just reading old books from Greece and India, they were taking that ancient knowledge and asking, how can we make this better? Take math. Seriously, where would modern life be without the concept of zero? And the actual foundation of algebra? That's from the Persian scholar Al-Khwarizmi. In fact, the term algorithm itself is just a Latinized version of his name. This wasn't just homework, this was the practical language used to calculate taxes, design structures, and navigate the stars. Now, medicine. This is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. People like Al-Razi completely revolutionized medical treatment, saying, hey, maybe we should try to actually test our ideas. They were the first to really tell the difference between smallpox and measles. But the king of medicine? That was Ibn Sina. His book, The Canon of Medicine, was the definitive medical text for over 600 years in European universities. It talked about clinical trials, infectious diseases, and the basics of pharmacology, stuff we consider cutting-edge today. And surgery? Imagine needing cataract removal back in the 10th century. A surgeon named Al-Mawsili literally invented a hollow syringe-like needle to suction the cataract out of the eye, a technique that, in a simplified way, is still the basis of modern eye surgery. They were meticulous about things like surgical sterilization and even used silk thread for stitches. They weren't just treating, they were pioneering. Beyond the lab, engineering and architecture. Innovation wasn't just in their scrolls and their hospitals. It was out in the real world, building massive cities. Engineering was a super high art. Because many of their lands were arid, they had to become absolute masters of hydraulics. They built complex canal networks, underground aqueducts, and these huge, automated water wheels to keep agriculture feeding millions. Next time you see a beautiful, old building with intricate geometric patterns, know this: those weren't just random decorations. That was advanced math at work. They used complex trigonometry to guarantee the structural integrity of their massive domes and those beautiful, soaring arches. The intricate tile work wasn't just art, it was a mathematical proof translated into stone. And then we have my personal favorite, Al-Jazari. This guy from the 12th century is basically the father of robotics. He designed and fully documented dozens of complex mechanical gadgets, from his multifunctional elephant clock to super sophisticated water lifting machines. But here's the kicker: he introduced the key concept of the crank and connecting rod system. That is the fundamental mechanism that drives almost every single modern engine, from your lawnmower to your car. He wasn't just dreaming of automation, he was literally building the future. Cultural catalysts, arts and daily life. Okay, now for the stuff that makes your life run every day. The world's favorite necessary evil, coffee, was first cultivated and brewed in Yemen. Imagine your mornings without that. And you know that paper slip you get when you pay for something? The Arabic word Sakk is where we get the English word check, a smart way to avoid hauling massive amounts of gold across the desert. They basically invented the concept of international banking. In chemistry, they weren't just doing random experiments, they were performing detailed research. The process of distillation, which is crucial for everything from refining oil to making high-end perfumes and even spirits, was absolutely perfected by the alchemists of this era, most notably Jabir ibn Ayan. This is genuinely the starting point for modern scientific chemistry. And all this new knowledge had to get out, right? When the secrets of paper manufacturing were introduced from the East, it changed everything. Suddenly, books were cheap compared to expensive parchment, allowing knowledge, education, and literacy to explode. Without the widespread use of paper, the mass spread of ideas during the Renaissance simply could not have happened. Even your music was affected. The musical instrument the oud, with its classic shape, traveled into Europe and became the lute, which then heavily influenced the development of the modern guitar. The cultural exchange wasn't just happening, it was a constant, deep, and brilliant dialogue. Enduring echoes, a call to acknowledgement. Look, let's be totally honest, there is no intellectual highway that runs directly from ancient Greece to modern Europe that skips the Islamic Golden Age. It was the single most crucial bridge. When the traders and explorers returned to Europe, they didn't just bring spices and silks, they brought knowledge. They brought Al-Khwarizmi's incredible math, Ibn Sina's detailed medicine, and Al-Jazari's mechanical concepts. This massive influx of sophisticated learning was the main catalyst that pulled Europe out of its dark ages and directly into the Renaissance. So, when we recognize these forgotten innovators, people who gave us everything from the zero and the algorithm to advanced surgery and coffee, we're not trying to replace one hero with another. We're simply making our understanding of human progress complete and true. Alright, that's a lot to process. What's one invention you learned about today that you think your friends absolutely need to know? Drop that in the comments below.